Okay, class, welcome. We're still looking at the business model canvas, and we've gone through quite a few parts of the business model. We start out with the front of the stage, customer segments, value propositions, relationships, channels, how you're going to make money, the revenue stream. And we had moved over to the back of the stage, to the part of the business that most people don't see or don't think about. And we talked about key activities, and now we're moving on to key resources. So the key resources are the things that a company should have or needs in order to successfully be able to complete this project, this idea, make it a reality. So what are the things that are crucial? What are the things that give you an advantage over the competition? What are the things that you cannot do without? That's kind of what you need to think about. And again, depending on your idea, what's going to be a key resources versus just an ordinary thing that you use in the generation of the resource of the service or the asset. Well, what kind of things can it include? Well, sometimes they're physical resources, okay? So this might be raw materials, it might be a building, it might be a piece of machinery that you have to have, okay? They can be intellectual. It could be a patent. It could be a copyright that you have, which prevents other people from doing the same thing that you're trying to do. It could be a design, right? Something which differentiates your product significantly from what others are trying to offer. So in addition to this, it could be human resources, okay? Maybe it's the people that are going to make the difference. Maybe it is the very high quality chef that you have. Maybe it is the very successful, very friendly waiting staff. It could be the very effective salespeople that you have. It could be the great designers that you have. It could be the great, coders that you have. For example, if you're going to do something related to financial technology, and especially if it's going to involve banks and payment systems and stuff like that, I've learned that it's not any coder, any programmer that is able to do this, because it has to be very secure. It's not something that you can, draw a little from there, draw a little from there, slap it together and it'll work. No, it has to be using very secure codes, very secure software, and they really need to know the industry and the tools that they're using. So it could be as simple as that. But again, in order to be a key resource and not just any resource that is used in this business, it has to be essential. It has to be difficult to obtain. It typically has to be expensive oftentimes, and it's something that differentiates your offering from what the others are trying to provide. In addition to this, it could be financial resources. Maybe yours is a project which is going to require a significant amount of investment. For example, if in Turkey, if you want to open up a bank or if you want to open up a payment system, payment provider, there's a lot of rules and regulations, and there's a lot of money that you need to put up in order to be able to apply for these. So in some cases, yes, you need a lot of money to begin. But be careful, because in almost all projects, you're going to need money at the beginning. But if the amounts aren't very large, if it's not very specific, if you can obtain it from many places, then I probably would not be placing it as a key resource. So in these groups, and you might be able to add some more, typically you might have things like specialized machinery and equipment. Okay, so this would fall under the physical resources, and this is oftentimes very important. For example, let's say that you have to produce an actual physical product. And in order to produce and sell this, it has to be made of very high quality. And in order to ensure that quality, you need a very special machine. Okay, this is a machine that, let's say, costs $10 million. And let's say in Turkey or in Ankara, there's only one or maybe two of these available. Okay. And in that case, yes, this definitely would be a key resource. You have to have it in order to be able to do the project the way that you are planning. But also keep in mind, as a startup especially, all of the key resources that you're going to need and all of the key activities that we talked about before might not potentially be doable just by yourself. So in the next part, we will also be talking about key partners, and we'll come back to this. But yes, it could be some very specialized, expensive machinery and or equipment that you're going to need to do this. For some projects, like the fintech project I was talking about, it could be some very highly qualified personnel. In some cases, it is the connections of some people, the people that they know, the people that they can contact, which might be very valuable key resources as well. And again, for intellectual property, uh, hopefully you have some type of patent or a license which is going to help you protect that intellectual property as well. Otherwise, it may be easily stolen by your competitors. And in that case, you lose the advantage. So all of these are crucial. As an example to another key resource, which you might not think of, is there were some companies that were like Groupon that were trying to start into this, uh, you know, coupon distribution, mass buying groups. And the interesting thing from the Groupon's point of view was that it was not initially a company set up to do that. It was actually, if I remember correctly, it was a group of people that had come together to influence lawmakers. So it was going to use the influence of many people that had come together, and they were going to call their representatives, their lawmakers, and try to influence them. So that's what originally they were trying to do. And for some reason, they said, we're not going to be able to continue this way. And then they were trying to look for a new idea of what they could do. And they had a list of a lot of people. They had connections. They knew how to contact them. They knew kind of what they were interested in. So they said, well, what if, I use this list as the starting point for this, Groupon type of deal. And if I remember correctly, the first thing that was sold on Groupon was um, 2 pizzas for a certain price from the pizzeria just below the Groupon headquarters. And they had initially just printed out some QR codes, and they had printed them out on the computer and so on, and then they had emailed it out to their email list. So for them, the key resource that got them started was the emails of the individuals that were going to be interested and potentially become their customers. So sometimes it's that. Today it might not be email, but it might be SMS, phone numbers, or some other way of contacting these people, or just knowing how to contact the relevant people might also be something that is valuable. Or for some people, it might be that they are on social media or on television. They have a voice, they have an audience, and that audience may actually help them come out with a profitable business idea. So very different types of things that can be key resources. But again, it's not just everything that you're using while trying to complete your business idea, but it is the things that are crucial, that are important, that are expensive, that are difficult to reach, that become the key resources. So have a good day. I hope to see you again.